Namaste, it's Sahara Rose, and welcome back to the Highest Self podcast, a place where we discuss what makes you your soul's highest evolvement. Are you looking for a way to be more abundant in your life, but don't know where to turn? Well, I created the Abundance Mindset Masterclass just for you. In this masterclass, we are going to rewire your subconscious so you can see where you have blocks that are holding you back from living a life of freedom, purpose, and joy, because that is why you're here. That is your birthright. Abundance is the result of worthiness. And when you believe in yourself, when you say, yes, I can, you naturally become abundant. And I am so excited to deliver this information to help reawaken you so you can become your most abundant self. So head over to abundancemindsetmasterclass.com. Come join me. It's only $20 for the masterclass, including a 1-hour Q&A webinar where you can ask me anything. And I will be offering also a 6-week mentorship program only for those who join the masterclass. So again, head over to abundancemindsetmasterclass.com, and I look forward to guiding you. Oh man, getting back on this mic got me feeling some type of way because it has been a few weeks that I have been traveling on my book tour. And wow, it has been Pitta AF, but so amazing. I was in LA, did a book launch here in Santa Monica at Unplugged Meditation. Then I went to New York. I did an incredible book launch at the Deepak home base with 200 of you guys. I literally wasn't going to plan a book launch in New York because I still have this trauma from when I was a kid and I planned a birthday party and no one showed up. So I still feel like no one's going to show up to these things. So I really wasn't going to plan a New York book launch. The fact that 200 of you guys came was so just beyond insane. It's a moment that I will remember for the rest of my life. And then the next morning I woke up and I was on 18 TV shows in a row. It was like Kansas news, like Tallahassee news, Vegas news. Basically every little city in America now knows what Ayurveda is. And the amazing thing is that these are people that opted to have me on their show. I mean, I talked to Sue from Alabama and she took my Dosha quiz and found out that she's very, very Pitta, and we talked about that. I spoke with, these are all people in their 50s and 60s really who are hosting these shows who live in the Midwest or the South or areas that this kind of, consciousness is not a big thing as much as it is on the coasts. And the fact that they were receptive and welcoming to have me on the show really speaks volumes of the direction that we are going as a global environment. So that was such an honor. It was a lot to do 18 back to back. We just had set up all my food, my chai pancakes, sweet potato crust pizza, the avocado fudge brownies, and the plant-based chai lattes, all from Eat Feel Fresh. So we had them all set up there, and it was just like one after another. And, people ask me, like, how did you get through all of this? How are you still alive? How do you still have so much energy? And that's what I want to talk about on this episode. So after that night, I did my event at the Assemblage New York, which was all about Ayurvedic entrepreneurship, which is a topic I'm so passionate about right now. And my Abundance Mindset Masterclass is about this topic, bringing Ayurveda and looking at the doshas in terms of abundance and money and creating your own business. And it's the topic that my next book will be on too. Sneak peek right there. Still don't know what to call it. And something that really is so near and dear to my heart because it's radically shifted my life the same way that Ayurvedic health has shifted my life. Looking at entrepreneurship from the doshic lens has really been mind-altering, earth-slamming, life-changing, created so much more abundance, ease, fluidity, and freedom in my life that I never knew was possible before. And then right after that event, I got on a plane. I went back to LA, got up in the morning, drove to San Diego. I spoke at Pays to Be Brave, Angie Lee's big conference. I just played you the interview, the Entrepreneurship Dosha interview. That was me on her show, and she's been on this show talking about marketing. So she had an amazing event, Pays to Be Brave, which is all about really helping health coaches and life coaches get better at their business. So that was amazing. That was a crowd of 500 people, which was the biggest crowd I've ever talked to at once. And It was probably the best talk that I've ever done in my life. And I realized how much I love that energy of like being on the really big stage. And, you know, you can't even see the people around, but you can feel their energy and feel their scream. And oh my God, it was like a meditation to be up there. Then the next day I drove to La Jolla and I did my book launch in San Diego. So it was a lot. It's been a lot of pitta this week that's brought me through. But the reason why I don't get tired is this. The energy that is coming through me is actually not coming from me. It is coming through me, but it is coming from source. You see, the thing is, when you are on your dharma, you are being fed nourishment that is greater than your bread and your fruit. This is the most radiant, most enriching nourishment that humankind can ever devour because it is coming straight from source. Have you ever been in, like a crazy week and for some reason, just like new batteries were just getting packed into you somehow, and you just had the energy to keep going? And this can happen oftentimes when you're not wanting to keep working, but you have to, and you may just get that adrenaline rush. But that's a very different type of energy than what I'm talking about. That energy feels like fight or flight. That feels like if I don't push through this, I'm going to fail, and it's coming from fear. This energy that I'm talking about, this is another taste. This is when you are so in alignment with your dharma, your life purpose. That energy is infinite. There is no thinking about what you're going to do next or where you'd rather be. This is the only place that you could be. It's a type of energy that comes when you have really given it all to be at this point where you are right now. So even though you're working, even though you're doing, it is coming from you being so in alignment with your being that it is greater than the effort. This type of energy is something that we all have access to, but most of us are not living in alignment with our dharma. So that is why when we see someone who's traveling, who's speaking, who's doing workshops, who's creating tons of content, and you just look at them and you're like, aren't you tired? That looks like a lot. It's because you aren't allowing yourself to be fed by your truth. Because when your truth feeds you, there is nothing else that you could be doing with your time. This is it. When you're there, creating your business, giving your talk, working with those people, you know that you are so bound in the exact map that was given to you before you incarnated on this planet, that everything must have gone right for me to be in this position. That is how it feels. And when I say everything must have gone right, I don't mean everything must have been easy, because right is not always easy. When everything goes right, it means you move past the obstacles. It means you learned from those lessons. It means you collapsed on the floor crying, maybe again and again. But that seed that you needed in that breakdown moment was implanted in your chakras, and you watered it and nourished it. And now it has come to life. This is truth. There is no other flavor. Because when you are connected to truth, there is nowhere else that you could see yourself. You are somehow able to go 24 hours a day, day after day. Not forever, but until that contract, that mission was completed. So for me, when I was going through this massive book launch week, while I was also running my business, creating content, putting out podcast episodes, posting on my Instagram, responding to the DMs, doing all of the other things that I still do on a daily basis, There were times that I caught myself saying, this is exhausting. When I was doing those 18 TV shows back to back and we finished the third, and I just looked down at the list and I'm like, wow, I'm not even a fourth way done. There were times that I wanted to change my story. I walked out of there and I didn't even know how to feel. It's like, when you are just like up for so long and you're like, am I exhausted or am I really full of energy right now? It kind of feels like that. And it's in those moments that you are so exhausted doing what you love that you can choose the story that you want to run with. Do you want to run with, I'm exhausted, I'm depleted, I'm tired, everyone needs to leave me alone? Do you run with that? Or do you run with, holy shit, everything that I worked for has finally manifested and I've been given this opportunity to share my message with so many people. Thank God these TV shows even want me here. Thank God these people are sending me emails. Thank God I have customers who need customer service. Thank God I have a spouse that I even can fight with. Thank God for these things. Because we forget the amount of time that we have spent yearning and craving and building and growing so we can finally be at this moment to have these problems. These are called good problems, my friends. Good problems. And a lot of us have a lot of good problems, but we don't see it that way. So when you're exhausted, fulfilling your dharma, that's not exhaustion. That is you being connected to this stream of source energy that may feel beyond you. It may feel like you have one step into exhaustion and one step into exhilaration, and this is the time that you can choose which side you want to operate from. At the same time, can we run like this forever? This is a question that I've always wondered as well. I remember the first time that I met Deepak Chopra about 2 years ago, and one of the first questions I asked him, I was like, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, but suddenly, listen to the episode on how I met him. I recorded that a week later. But basically, I walked up to him at a conference, I met him, and then suddenly things started to move really fast. And before I knew it, he wrote the foreword of my book. And my life had just shifted into a totally different direction. And I was almost just like, what the heck just happened? So I emailed him and I said, hey, Dr. Chopra, what's up? It's me. I was wondering, is it possible for life to always be in flow? Or do periods of enormous growth have to be followed by periods of inertia? Because, they say that good things can't keep coming. And in my mind, truly, I was still fighting off the story that when things are going really good, that means soon they're going to go bad. So I was almost like waiting for, okay, this is just moving really fast and things are going really smoothly, so shit's about to hit the fan. I'm just going to prepare myself for it because this is what normally happens in my life. And he responded to me very quickly and he said, Sahara, if life is not always moving in flow, then something is wrong. So if life is not always moving in flow, something is wrong. And we have carried this story that life must always be a struggle. Work must always be hard. When I work too hard, I must really, really feel exhausted after. I can't keep this up. And those stories are exactly what make us exhausted. But what if you have the story that I live my life in flow? That I come out of a week that lots of stuff is happening and I come out of that week feeling better than ever. It's like when a kid falls on a playground, like the first few times the kid falls, they don't know how to react. So they look around and they look at the adult faces. And if the adults say, oh my God, are you okay? Do you have a boo-boo? Then the kid starts crying. If the adults just laugh it off, okay, get back up, keep going. The kid gets up. The child learns its response from the people around it. And we have done the same thing. We have learned this response that when you are quote unquote working for a really long time, you must feel exhausted. So we take on that every time we maybe push ourselves past what we are familiar with, then that means we're going to probably have a breakdown at any moment. And the only reason that that story has existed is because people were working, but not in alignment with their truth. If I had gone and done all of this stuff for, I don't know, selling vacuums, something I was not passionate about, hell yeah, I'd be exhausted. Hell yeah, I'd be tired. Hell yeah, I would for sure not want to do 18 TV shows in a row on vacuums. But the fact that I was doing it on Ayurveda, on a topic that I have literally devoted my life to, something that I have fought, truly given up acceptance from my family, from friends, from everything. I've literally chosen Ayurveda over life. The fact that I am working to share this message means it's not really work. And I know what they say, do what you love and you won't work a day in your life. No, it still is a form of work, but it's not the form of work, the connotation of work that we think of. It's not easy. There are times that you will want to give up. But when you remind yourself that you are the only reason why you're here, you're not here because society has told you to be. You're not here because you just want to collect a paycheck and go home and watch Netflix. You're here because this is where you have fought and studied and trained and pushed yourself to be. Then you come from a place of gratitude for the work, gratitude for the opportunity. And when you are doing something you are grateful for, how can you be exhausted? So if we look at work this way, doing something that brings us towards our truth, then we are tapped into an energy source that is so much greater than us. And this looks different for different people. For the Vata types, it needs to involve the creativity. This is how you may feel when you're up all night writing poetry, or writing, or creating web design and graphics, or coming up with creative copy or marketing solutions. Maybe this form of exhaustive energy is how you feel in that time because that is your flow. And if you have more pitta, it is when you are leading a team. Maybe when you're public speaking, when you are in a position of leadership. That is when you feel that divine flow, that even if it's long hours, you know that this is what you are meant to be doing. And if you're more kapha, the earth energy, you may feel this flow when you are in conversation with someone for like 7 hours and time has just flown by. And you have just gotten so deep into the core and essence of this person's soul and your soul that it's like time no longer exists. When you are connecting to a child, to an animal, when you are lost in your kitchen with your hands and the greens and, flowing between the cutting board and the oven, this is maybe where you feel that energetic, exhaustive flow. So it is work, but it is not work. Maybe it's work with an E. We could call it that. So how do I have the energy? Because the energy is not coming from me. It is coming through me. And we all have access to it. All that it takes is knowing your dosha, your mind-body constitution, and allowing that to have the little seeds and breadcrumbs that take you towards your dharma. I hope that was helpful, and I most definitely want to continue the book launch party in the spring. I plan to come to Boston, DC, San Francisco, Philadelphia, maybe Texas, Vancouver, Toronto. And this November 30th, I will be at Sacred Space Miami, and you can find the tickets for that over on my Instagram at I am Sahara Rose. Click at the link in bio or head over to iamsahararose.com. Look for the events tab and you can find everything that I'm up to there. I cannot wait to connect with you in person. This is really why we do the work. There's no greater feeling than to feel your energy. And it means so much to me that you listen to this in your car, cleaning your house, while doing yoga on your floor, wherever you are. And I want you to meet the other people who do the same thing, because this is your soul tribe. And in this isolated world, we all need each other. So please come join me at one of my book launch events. And if you have any suggestions on where I should go, just simply send me an email, sahara@eatfeelfresh.com. And I so look forward to hearing from you. Namaste.